Right now, the National Weather Desk, a brush fire explodes in Southern California, leaving tens of thousands of people in harm's way.
We've lived here 24 years and nothing like this has ever happened.
After the storms, communities assess the damage after powerful tornadoes strike the nation's midsection.
Sand and wood shards blowing everywhere.
It's about as scary as you can think it is.
Why the Pacific Northwest is about to see some of the lowest tides of the year.
Exploring the tide pools are possible thanks to the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun.
As the Northeast bakes in possible record-breaking heat, we'll help you understand the heat index and where do horses go after they retire from their racing days.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. A fast-moving brush fire is threatening thousands of homes just north of L.A. The Sandy fire started yesterday morning in Simi Valley, and within hours, the winds had whipped those flames, spreading to more than 1,300 acres. 29,000 people are now under evacuation orders. Another 11,000 people were told to be ready to leave. Reed Binion has more.
I was getting ready to go out to work and, just a lot of smoke.
Residents in parts of Southern California ordered to evacuate after a wildfire broke out Monday.
Ended up getting the cats together and the dogs together and getting my wife out first.
The fast-moving blaze prompted officials to order evacuations for tens of thousands of people in Simi Valley and surrounding communities. Thousands more were under evacuation warnings. Driven by strong winds, the morning brush fire spread quickly, sending up thick smoke amid large flames. According to the LA Times, the fire burned at least one home and one other structure Monday, with thousands more under threat. The response was swift. Officials said Monday roughly 500 firefighters were battling the blaze. Crews on the ground were aided from the sky by fixed-wing air tankers and multiple water-dropping helicopters, as well as planes dropping fire retardant.
I've always heard the response up here was pretty good up there, when there were fires in the past, so I'm just really thankful.
According to the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, the Sandy fire had burned more than 1,300 acres as of late Monday, and the agency said the blaze was at 0% containment. Officials said the cause of the fire is under investigation. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
And there were 5 more tornadoes reported in Nebraska on Monday. They came less than 24 hours after at least 3 struck the state on Sunday. The National Weather Service says the strongest was an EF3 with maximum winds of 160 miles per hour. It was on the ground for 11 minutes as it left a trail of destruction more than 6 miles long, destroying homes along the way. You can see the damage there. Remarkably, everyone survived. Jack Bartlett reports on the people who returned to see what was left of their homes.
It's like a freight train. It's really, really loud. Your ears pop. Pressures are going crazy, and just sand and wood shards blowing everywhere. And
I looked out the window, and you could just see it right over the top of the hill. And I just went into shock.
Hey, Michaela, a lot of this stuff here is yours too.
The natural disaster took out at least 4 homes, and one family even sought shelter in a storage space underneath their stairs.
I have a 4-month-old, and I basically held her like a football under my chest and my chin. We have a 2.5-year-old, and I shoved her about as far as I could in the corner of that room. And you were on top of us. It's about as scary as you can think it is.
I've just never been so scared, and seeing whole trees and power lines floating through the air is just surreal.
The St. Labori Volunteer Fire Department has not reported any injuries from the twister yet, but after spending so much time to build these houses, some homeowners feel like they have nothing left.
We were so happy to finally just be here and feel settled and at peace. It's been a year of craziness and being displaced, and I think I still can't process it all. I'm still having a hard time just is this real?
We put in a lot of time into our dream home, and to see it gone really is unfortunate. But we will rebuild, and things can be replaced.
Well, several storms also struck western Michigan on Monday. They brought down the roof of some walls at a kindergarten and a preschool. Thankfully, not a single child was hurt. Colin Roos is just outside of Kalamazoo with more.
My wife said, "You got to come upstairs and see this."
This is what Ron Martin saw when he looked out his back door Monday afternoon. Insulation and siding strewn across the Lakewood Early Childhood Center parking lot after heavy winds blew off part of the roof with children still inside.
Looked out, and there were pieces of the roof from the school that were flying through the air.
According to the district, the collapse struck the administration office located on the rear of the Childhood Center building. No staff or children were harmed, but the seriousness of the damage alarmed parents. Margaret Ruff received a message that her kindergartner was under a shelter-in-place order and rushed over when she saw the pictures on Facebook.
A mom's biggest fear is something happening to their child and not being there and not knowing about it.
The school followed tornado drill procedures by sheltering children in the school's restrooms. Ruff says her daughter was terrified during the ordeal, but that teachers handled it correctly.
Everybody's kind of saying the same thing of, oh, we're super impressed with staff for keeping the kids safe.
And there is once again a threat of more storms today, and the area at risk is massive. Look at this right here. It includes 53 million people living from northern Vermont to southern Texas. Major cities like Dallas, Detroit, Columbus, Ohio all face the risk of scattered thunderstorms, damaging winds, and also some hail. Now, in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, the story here is actually the heat. Highs will once again soar into the 90s, with many cities flirting with all-time record highs. Philly could hit a high of 98 degrees. D.C. and New York looking at around 96 degrees, and even Boston and Hartford and New England could be in the mid-90s. There will be one more day of heat tomorrow before the cold front sends the mercury apparently plummeting once again. And that heat is giving some a taste of what's to come this summer with the heat index. You have meteorologist Emma Kate Cowan explaining how this all works.
What exactly is a heat index? Well, to calculate it, you take the temperature and factor in humidity levels, or how much moisture is in the air outside. And think of it as this. On a typical day, if the air is dry, your body's going to sweat when it gets hot, and the dry air is going to evaporate that sweat off your body. However, when it's hot and you're sweating, but it's humid, our bodies aren't able to dry off that sweat as easily. So it's almost like you're wearing a wet jacket outside. That's what the humidity does to our bodies, and it makes it feel warmer and stickier than it might feel if the air was, say, dry. Well, high heat index values can really put a strain on your body, so make sure as the heat and the humidity rises this time of year, you're taking care of yourself by staying cool and drinking plenty of water.
All right, for the next few days, areas along the Washington coast will have some of the lowest tides of the year. It's great for those hoping to spot some octopuses, sea stars, and also crabs. Meteorologist Stella Sun explains what is happening.
At the Edmonds waterfront,
we saw sea
anemones, starfish, crabs, and other marine mammals often hiding under the sea were on display for hundreds to see.
I didn't expect this crowd, but it's amazing.
Some of the lowest tides of the year are happening this week.
And exploring these tide pools. I found a starfish!
Exploring the tide pools are possible thanks to the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun temporarily receding the ocean waters.
Our science class is exploring this low tide. It's pretty cool. We get to see all these like sea stars and like crabs.
Come out to take photographs of different sea life, but mainly looking for the moon snail.
In western Washington, the highest tides, or king tides, happen in December, near the winter solstice. Next month, the water dips down even more at its lowest point between June 13th to the 17th, before the summer solstice.
All the cool creatures you can see, and like just hang out with your friends.
I'm not from here, so I didn't grow up tide pooling, so it's really cool to see all of the ocean life that you didn't even know when you're just at the beach.
And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll find out where racehorses go to retire, and we're going to help you better understand how lightning forms as we head to break views over East Clear Creek in Arizona.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. The heat is building in the Northeast today. The humidity will be up there as well. Look for highs to surge back into the 90s. Then we'll increase that chance for a few afternoon showers and storms. That's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Not every town's going to get one, but if you get a thunderstorm, damaging wind will be the primary threat if they become severe. Another line of showers and storms should get going during the afternoon for our Wednesday. Most areas will top out in the 80s with elevated humidity.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard DeBailey. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Stray shower chance going into your Tuesday afternoon. Better rain chances coming as a strong cold front will be approaching Wednesday. Scattered to possibly widespread rain and thunderstorms to come in. That will be great news because it's going to be hot. 90s across the region, except for some middle to upper 80s in the mountains. We'll still get close to 90 degrees as we head into Wednesday, but the cooler air will work its way in. It'll be about 20 degrees cooler come Thursday.
I'm meteorologist Lauren Oleski with a look at your forecast across the southeast. It's a mild and muggy start to Tuesday morning in the southeast. Temperatures mostly in the mid to upper 60s and low 70s. Lots of sunshine, though, to go across the majority of the area. Might try to see a front boundary developing a little further west, but plenty of sun to go through the day on Tuesday with temperatures in the low 80s. And then we stay mostly dry overnight with that front moving through and into Wednesday. Temperatures are near 70 degrees Wednesday morning.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
A dicey rescue in Nevada Sunday after a plane crash in a rugged remote mountain area with heavy cloud cover and bad weather. Helicopter use out of the question. First responders walked to the crash site, led by the GPS location from an iPhone crash notification, which is how the Elko County Regional Dispatch Center learned about it. And the weather improved enough for an airlift.
Well, it's horse racing season, but what happens to race horses when they retire and are no longer sprinting down that track? Jade Lawson shows us how some racehorses spend their golden years.
These former racehorses live just a mile away from the Central Maryland Correctional Facility, but now they have a renewed purpose. At Second Chance Farms, they're giving incarcerated men a chance for hands-on experience and responsibility as they prepare for re-entry.
The men who come into this program, they have to be pre-release, so they have to have a certain amount of time left on their sentence to be able to participate.
The program is sponsored by the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation, a nonprofit that provides aftercare for retired racehorses. The men spend 7 days a week at the farm,
Good boy.
learning how to care for the horses, like Carlos Harvey, who is serving a 20-year sentence for assault.
As soon as we get here, we start on the feed. We start getting their feed and their medicine together.
So they do a lot of theory ranging from horse behavior all the way up to caring for injuries and grooming and tacking and everything that you may need to know moving forward when they're released from the program.
Yeah, I know. It gives you that physical aspect of, working with the horses and getting a rapport or a better relationship with the horse.
The goal is to help prevent repeat offenders. Organizers say that the incarcerated individuals that complete this program are nearly 85% less likely to commit another crime.
It's so beneficial for everyone working with horses because it changes you from the
Good boy,
inside out.
Okay.
With 6 months left on his sentence, Carlos says he hopes to use his certificate to continue caring for horses.
I think I grew a lot. Like it gave me a more sense of responsibility. It gave me more of a work ethic. You taking care of the horse, but the horse is helping you out too, because you learn how to have sympathy and empathy for something besides yourself. And it also teaches you that, everybody deserves a second chance.
Well, it's severe weather season. When we hear about severe weather, we often think about tornadoes and high winds, but lightning can also be a major risk. Meteorologist Sharon Ray has a closer look at the dangers of lightning.
Take a look at this lightning video. This was taken by Kelly Stickney in Eldon earlier this week of a cloud to ground lightning strike. And certainly these are the most deadly type of strikes, but there are many ways that you can get struck by lightning. Let's take a look at some of these. And first of all, this is the cloud to ground strike. This is a direct strike, which we call it, when the main lightning channel comes down and hits the highest object. This can be a person, and it is the most deadly form of lightning strikes, and mostly in open areas. That's why you never want to be the tallest object and when lightning is coming in out in a field or open area. Okay, that's a direct strike, but you can also have what we call a side strike. In fact, this one, the side flash is when you have the lightning bolt coming down, it hits an object, and then the current jumps to the nearest object. This side flash can happen when, let's say, if a person is within 2 feet or so of a tall object that is struck, you could be struck by lightning, and that is called the side flash. Then we also have conduction. What is that? Well, when the lightning strikes an object, and if there's metal, that can travel long distances along that conductive material. And this is most common in indoor lightning fatalities. This can happen in plumbing and in wiring, and it's called the conduction when the lightning does strike and it travels through those metal objects, and it can, of course, strike you if you are touching or near one of those metal objects. Also, we do see ground currents, and this is the most common way that we see lightning strike people. Why? Because it covers such a large area. Lightning can strike an object, that charge goes down into the ground, and then it spreads out, and that area could be affected by that lightning charge. And again, this covers a large region, so it's usually the most causes the most deaths and injuries is due to the ground current. So just some of the ways that you can be struck by lightning, and that's why we always say, when thunder roars, go indoors. And did you know that lightning can strike within 30 miles of a thunderstorm? So anytime you hear thunder, it's best to get indoors.
When James Marshall discovered a gold nugget while working at Sutter's Mill northeast of Sacramento in January of 1848, the mill's owner tried to keep things quiet, but it didn't remain a secret for long. On February 2nd, 1848, Mexico ceded 55% of its territory, including California, to the United States. Unbeknownst to either side, gold had just been discovered on the land. Soon enough, word of the discovery started to spread. Fortune seekers began to trickle into California for the promise of gold, hoping to strike it rich. By summer of 1848, East Coast newspapers first published accounts of gold in California. But Americans across the country remained skeptical until President James K. Polk himself confirmed it in his December State of the Union address. The gold fever quickly became an epidemic. In 1849, westward expansion exploded. Between 80 and 90,000 Americans and international immigrants, mostly men, would rush to California before it even became a state. The people who arrived early nicknamed the 49ers. And by the end of the gold rush years in 1855, roughly 300,000 people had migrated to California. Many of them borrowed money, mortgaged homes, and spent their life's savings to join the search for gold on the new frontier. In the first 5 years of the gold rush, it's estimated more than 750,000 pounds of gold was extracted. But for individual miners, many did not pocket much money. Panning and digging for gold was not easy or as lucrative as many had hoped. Conditions were harsh, disease was rampant, and competition was fierce. Gold dust and nuggets were quickly spent on food, supplies, and lodging to keep the fortune-seeking going. Ironically, most who got rich weren't digging for gold, they were selling the shovels. Entrepreneurs like Sam Brannan, who bought up all available mining pans and shovels in San Francisco to resell at astronomical markups. Levi Strauss, who sold dry goods and denim work trousers browsers to miners, and Henry Wells and William Fargo, aka Wells Fargo, who set up shop in California's mining settlements, providing banknotes for gold dust. Today, there are still a handful of active gold mines in California. For Amazing America, I'm Taylor Murray with the National News Desk.
And time now for a short break, but first we take to the skies over Montana.
Well, a very good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. The severe weather shifting a little bit more over to the Ohio Valley and lower Great Lakes for the day today. And as we continue on into the day tomorrow, pushing that rain to the south and east and out of there as we go through the day. So Wednesday, a little break in the rain for a lot of the plains, but then we start to get a little bit more to start moving in from the southern plains by the time that we get into Thursday, with temperatures staying kind of mild.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. Here's a look at your regional weather. A little on the cool side for our friends in Amarillo. At 49, we have some storms in Oklahoma and some rain down toward the south from San Antonio back over into the Houston area. We're going to be watching a severe area of showers and thunderstorms move through North Texas back into Louisiana and into Arkansas all during the morning and into the afternoon. That means afternoon temperatures will be rain cool to the north, warm and humid to the south. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. That's a look at your regional weather.
Well, hi there, everybody, and a good Tuesday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Getting deep into the month of May, and the heat continues into the desert Southwest, back into the 90s in the Valley of the Sun in Phoenix versus a pretty 63 in Seattle. Kind of cool eventually through the Dakotas, where we've got some frost warnings in the morning and wildfire danger high because of a red flag warning there in the Central Valley of California. And that's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Long-range weather forecasting can be difficult. Meteorologist Lindsay Storrs compares it to a popular Price is Right game.
Forecasting a storm that is many days away, let's say 7 to 10 days away, is a lot like playing the game Plinko. When you've got a storm that's that far out, there are so many possibilities of track and timing that it can take, and each one has a different outcome down here at the bottom. So as you get closer to the storm approaching your area, no longer do you have all of these options of what can happen, but you're able to better narrow it down as to what the result of this storm will be. You're better able to pinpoint the exact track, the exact timing, and the intensity of the storm, so you know how much snow you'll get or rain if it's a storm in the summer. So that's why, as you get closer to a storm approaching, a meteorologist can give you more specific details.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great day, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.